Holy crap. What an opening to an NBA season. Hello everyone and welcome back to Step Back with Zach, and in today's video I will be giving you my opening night reaction to the NBA season. First of all, before we talk about this first game, why are you salty ass OKC fans still booing Kevin Durant? It's been 10 years. Grow up. You won your championship. Grow the hell up. Stop booing that man. He is one of the 3 greatest players in your franchise's history. He's gonna get his jersey retired. Stop being little bitches and respect his greatness. He left you, yes, 10 years ago. Grow up and move on. Now that we got that little spiel out the way, what an opening game from OKC and Houston, where in double overtime, the Thunder ended up walking away with a 125-124 victory. The very first points scored of the game were by Chet Holmgren on an and one, and this really started what was an amazing first quarter for Chet Holmgren. I really thought that throughout the entire game, both sides played some really strong defense, especially against each other's superstars, where Shea was getting absolutely locked up on one end and Kevin Durant was getting absolutely shut out on the other. But back to Chet Holmgren, that man scored the first, 13 of the Thunder's first 15? Are you kidding me? What a start from Chet, especially with all the shit that he was given during the playoff run. This is exactly how you want Chet to start the regular season. He started 7 for 7 from the field in this game. But yeah, holy shit, what an absolute slugfest. It was just defense on defense on defense throughout this entire game. Now, at the end of the first half of this game, the Thunder were up 57-51, and the only reason that the Thunder were even that close was because Chet finished with 18 points to finish the half. Shea really struggled for OKC, and I just don't think he was being very, what's the word I'm looking for here? He wasn't being very aggressive. He was not looking for his shot, as he finished with only 5 points on 2 for 5 shooting. Unsung hero of the first half for the Oklahoma City Thunder, AJ Mitchell. Holy crap, that guy was crazy. He finished with 12 points just in the second quarter alone, and he hit 3 threes, including a huge and one 3-point shot, which gave him a 4-point swing right before the end of the half. As for OKC, we had a very well-rounded effort from their big 3. Kevin Durant finished the half with 14 points. Alperen Şengün finished the half with 10 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. And Amen Thompson, who was not afraid to shoot the ball, as he shot, 5 3-pointers in the first half, making none of them. He finished with 10 points as well. The lack of a true point guard for the Houston Rockets was kind of visible in the first half, but it didn't really affect as much as I thought it probably would have. But man, that tall lineup for Houston was definitely incredible to see. What a fun watch that first half was. Alperen Şengün finished this half with 2 out of 3 3-point makes, which is very good for Alperen Şengün, as we know he has not been the best 3-point shooter throughout his career so far. Kevin Durant, the whole game, literally the whole game, you could see him waving players around, telling them what to do, telling them where to go. He was definitely commanding the offense throughout the whole game. The tall lineup definitely worked for Houston, as they finished the half with 22 rebounds and OKC only finished with 16. Chet was definitely the star player though for both teams in the first half. To start the second half, Houston opened up on a 6-0 run, increasing the lead to 12, which was at that point the biggest lead of the game. And I'm pretty sure it was the biggest lead for the whole game. But then right after that, Caruso forced some insane turnovers, where at first, what did he do at first? Where Caruso got a steal, and then the very next play, he drew an offensive foul. Or vice versa, I don't really remember. Shea was so much more aggressive in this half, and that is exactly what we expect to see from the reigning MVP. But the main story for OKC in the third quarter was Alex Caruso and Cason Wallace's defense, which really brought them back into the game, where they ended up outscoring Houston 24-22. Alperen Şengün came out guns blazing as well for Houston, finishing the quarter with 9 points. This quarter was definitely emphasized by both teams' defense. Kevin Durant also played all quarter, which was kind of crazy. Holy shit though, that Aaron Wiggins dunk on Clint Capella was insane. I realize I'm all over the place right now, but I'm really trying to get this video out as quickly as I can because it's late. Houston also decided to run a lot of zone in this period, as they know that the Thunder's three-point shooting is not very strong, right? We all know that. Now, coming into the fourth quarter, Alperen Şengün ended up setting a career high for threes where he made 5 3-pointers in this game, which was insane. Şengün had 20 points in the second half alone, which crazy. He really was the star player for Houston today. This whole game was so scrappy. It was so much fun to watch. I was a little worried, especially earlier in the game for Houston, because when Kevin Durant sat, the Houston Rockets offense looked really stagnant and they just didn't look like they knew what they were doing. But Şengün, especially in the fourth quarter, really carried the offensive burden, and he did it so well. I'm so impressed with how Alperen Şengün played in this game. The Thunder really started to claw back, as at the end of the third quarter, the score was 79-75 to Houston. However, the Thunder did end up taking a lead for the first time since the score was 42-41, where Shai hit a mid-range jumper to get them up 102-101. And this whole clutch time period was insane, absolutely nuts. There was a time where it was late in the clock and Kevin Durant was fouled for a chance to go up 3 points if he made both free throws. However, he missed his first free throw, made his second, which had them up by 2. I think at that point it was 104-102 to the Houston Rockets. But then Shai comes down the other end, buries a mid-range jumper, sends the game into overtime. The Thunder really came out swinging in that overtime period where they hit a couple big threes and they ended up going up by 6. But Durant, again, was making plays the whole time. Şengün was still being the beast he is, and Chet Holmgren ended up actually fouling out in the first overtime period. Şengün also ended up making an incredible play where he was able to tie the game with 8.8 seconds left on the clock. What was so funny about the end of this overtime period was the fact that Kevin Durant tried to call a timeout after the miss from OKC when they had none. However, the referees didn't notice, so this was not called a technical foul, which if it was and the refs did notice, this would have led Shai to go to the free throw line and potentially seal the game right there. But again, this was a double overtime game, so the end of overtime it ended up being tied, so we go into the second overtime period where Kevin Durant, I thought, really lacked in this overtime period. He was so passive. He was not trying to make a play. Yes, he was being guarded by Lou Dort, who did an incredible job all game, but you really expect someone of Kevin Durant's caliber, an all-time great, to really put himself in these moments, and he just didn't. Now, here, in these overtime periods, is where the lack of a true point guard for Houston really showed. There were a couple boneheaded plays from all Houston players where they were throwing dumb passes or just dribbling off their feet, and they just could not hold on to the ball very well. Now, towards the end of this game, I really thought Kevin Durant had a good and one, which he converted. I believe anyway, he did convert it. However, he ended up fouling SGA on the other end, which then put the Thunder up. And Kevin Durant was fouled out. I don't know if I just said that, but he fouled out. So he ended up giving Shai 2 free throws, the chance to win the game, and the chance for a game winner to happen in the Houston side, which Jabari Smith had the opportunity to do, but he missed, unfortunately. What an overall game this was for the OKC Thunder and Houston Rockets. Thunder win the first game of their season while the Rockets lose. Alperen Şengün, though, was definitely the man of the match, where he finished with 39 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists on a career-high 5 3-pointers made. Shai, after only having 5 points in the first half, ended up finishing with 35 for the game. What a comeback from the league MVP. And Chet finished with 28 as well. He had a great game. And then Kevin Durant, in his first official game for the Houston Rockets, finished with 23 points, but he was, however, 0 for 4 from three-point land, which is not great. Big blow, though, because something happened to Amin Thompson at the very start of that first overtime period, and we don't actually know what it was. I think he just cramped, but he wasn't able to play the rest of the game. Now we move on to game 2 of the night, where we had the LA Lakers go up against the Golden State Warriors. Again, I don't know what the NBA cooked up, but these 2 games today were insane. They were so great to watch. I'm not going to spend as much time on this game because it wasn't as electric as game 1. However, it was still a good, intense game. So because of the fact that the Thunder and the Rockets went a double overtime, I did end up missing out on quite a bit of the first half of this game, and I wasn't able to go back and watch it before filming this video because time restrictions, obviously, right? I had other stuff to do, come back, and I have to film immediately. Jimmy Butler, I'm just going to talk about the game as a whole. I'm not going to go quarter by quarter. Jimmy Butler had 31 points in this game on 16 for 16 from the free throw line. He only shot the ball 14 times on the field and made 7 of them. Jonathan Kuminga as well. We're going to start with the Warriors. Jonathan Kuminga was crazy in this game too. He finished with 17 points and he had a career high 4 threes, I believe it was. On great efficiency, he was 4 for 6 from downtown, 6-11 from the field. And Steph had a pretty quiet game too. He only had 23 points and he was 3 for 9 from 3. Buddy Hield was also electric. He lit up the Lakers in the second half for 5 threes on 10 attempts. 50% shooting from 3 was pretty damn good. I think a big story of the first half though was how many turnovers both teams had. Yeah, where the Golden State Warriors had 13 turnovers and the Lakers had 14. Now for the Lakers, Luka Doncic of course came out and finished the half with 22 points. He also had 7 rebounds along with 4 assists. But to finish the game, Luka Doncic finished with a crazy stat line of 43 points, 12 rebounds, and 8 assists for an almost 50-point explosion on a near triple-double. And this is all without LeBron and really no offensive help around him. DeAndre Ayton really did not impress in this game. Austin Reeves was in foul trouble. Fortunately, he did not foul out and he was able to finish with 26 points himself. But Luka Doncic, his efficiency inside the arc was really good. However, from beyond the arc, he was only 2 for 10. So not very good shooting. But I thought Jake LaRavia played pretty well. I thought Marcus Smart's hustling was really solid in this game as well. But yeah, I thought the new acquisitions for the Lakers did pretty good. However, this ended up being ultimately a 119-109 victory for the Dubs. Shout out Dub Nation. But oh my god, the Luka Doncic game this season is going to be so special, especially when he doesn't have to go up against a great defensive team. Like the Warriors are pretty good defensively, especially with Draymond and Jimmy Butler. However, Luka was still able to put up 46 and man, his defense looked so good. He looks like he was so much more mobile. He looked like he was way more fit out there and he looked so much skinnier. It was so nice to see Luka Doncic looking in shape for the first time in years. The Lakers really struggled with their free throws in this one as well, where they finished 17 for 28, which is not good. When you take into account that the Lakers lost by 10 points, imagine if they hit those free throws. And you had Austin Reeves miss 3, and you had Luka miss 3. The Dubs did decide to start Jonathan Kuminga in this game instead of Al Horford, which turned out to be the right decision, because Jonathan Kuminga played really well, and Al Horford did pretty good too, coming off the bench. Not shooting, but I feel like he played really good defense. The rookie for the Golden State Warriors, Will Richard, actually looked really good. He looked really good, like he could be a good rotational piece for this team. But yeah, MVP of this game was obviously Luka Doncic, but I thought Jimmy Butler for the Golden State Warriors was their best player in this one. What an opening slate though, man. I'm so excited for the rest of this NBA season. Let me know your thoughts on opening night and which game you preferred more, if you preferred game 1 or game 2. The NBA is back, baby. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Rolling slow. Yeah.